remain constant. You understand? We add you 1 million votes.
Yes.
Okay, we add you 2, we add you 3. You still can't beat Uhuru Kenyatta or Raila.
First of all, Jalango, that's a very ignorant assumption.
Not
coming from your end. Let's go back to the determination of the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court did not bother itself to look at who got what results. The Supreme Court asked very fundamental questions. Did you, IEBC, follow the Constitution and the election law in conducting the presidential election? The answer was no. Did you follow the law in transmitting the final results? The answer was no. So the votes you think belong to Uhuru or Raila or even to Ekuru Aukot may
null and void.
Are null and void. Did you know, for example, that in a school called Mukororia Primary School, somewhere in Mbere, Embu, Ekuru Aukot got 223 votes and everybody else got 0 votes.
Huh?
2-3 days thereafter, we downloaded the same form. The results are now changed to indicate Joseph Nyaga got 223 votes and everybody else got 0. So this election was botched, it was bungled. There was no way you could tell who actually won or got what results. Because, again, like I was telling you guys earlier in an informal discussion, Chebukati announced the final result using forms 29,000 forms only, when he was required to have announced the result using 40,883 forms. So the question really is, whether that is a trend or not, were those the results that everybody got? The court did not even go to that extent because it was not possible. It was not possible to verify. Remember, I mean, Jalango, if you have read the Constitution, and you told me earlier on that you've read this Katiba, you know, Article 86 of the Kenya Constitution requires that in transmitting results, there has to be accountable, verifiable, and transparent. All those issues were not complied for. So the question really is, did we even hold an election in the first place to determine whether Ekuru Aukot got those votes or not?
No, but the question is,
no,
you had considered
You
much earlier.
were one of the first
people to come out and say, you know what?
Yes.
This is it.
Yeah.
I'm done here.
Yes.
But I also said, and you see, this is a sad thing about biased media, and I hope you're not in that category. When I read my statement saying that looking at the way things are, this election is not for Ekuru Aukot and Third Way Alliance, I said we will live to fight another day. But I also pointed out in that press statement, which I hope you can actually download and it's available online, we pointed out the fact that, however, there are problems with the manner in which these results were transmitted because Forms 34A were not readily available for us to inspect, to be able to verify. When I voted in Kapedo Girls Primary School in Kapedo, in Turkana, and I cannot find that form that actually verify the votes I got, then there was a problem. I admitted that fact. I also admitted the fact that there was a lot of irregularities, and I promised Kenyans that I'm going to start auditing this election process. And by the way, be fair to Third Way Alliance Kenya, we are the only party so far that has actually produced an audit report of the election process. And this is what we submitted at the Supreme Court. When we went to the Supreme Court, Jalango, Jeff, we said very categorically, we are not here to oppose the declaration of President Uhuru as president. And I still stand by that fact. Because even a dog could have been declared a president. The question we asked the court to determine is, how did you arrive at declaring so-and-so the president? And we looked at the process and the systems applied. So when that was not complied with, then even you, Jalango, could have been declared the president-elect right now.
Okay, Kuru.
Yes.
Do you want to be on the ballot?
Absolutely, because the court declared that the election was invalidated and declared null and void.
Why?
Because it's my democratic right, because what happened in this presidential election also affected me in equal measure, just like it affected Raila Amolo Odinga, just like it has now affected Uhuru Kenyatta and everybody else, Kaluyu, Wainaina, Jonyaga, and everybody. In other words, guys, there was no election conducted.
Do you think...
Yes.
So today, if all the due process, the due diligence, every single article in the law is followed, Ekuru Aukot, look at me straight and tell me that you can beat Uhuru and you can beat Raila.
You know, it's not a question about I can beat Uhuru, I can beat Raila. The question is we must learn to do things properly in this country. There is no self-entitlement to certain individuals that when you go into a presidential election that it is their preserve. Look at the state the country is in right now, Jalango. Ask the business community.
Of course,
Kenya,
things are
Kenya is almost at a standstill because we are preoccupied with only two individuals, Raila Amolo Odinga, Uhuru Kenyatta, as if Kenya belongs to them to them only. So I think for me the question is, even your vote counts. Why do you go to vote? Unless you are telling me one single vote, including Ekuru, Aukot, or Jalangos, or Jeffs, does not matter. So anybody who is qualified, after all, I qualify to be president of this country under Article 137 of the Kenya Constitution. And that's why I was cleared. I was given a nomination certificate. So it's not about whether I will win this or not. So do you want to surrender the country only to a few individuals? After all, the Supreme Court has confirmed that even those people you think are popular, their popularity is actually botched. It's always acquired through some mysterious, dubious ways, including bungling an election. So as a matter of fact, if we were actually in honest democracies, Uhuru Kenyatta should have resigned. Should have not offered himself afresh because he's been found to have benefited unfairly.
No, they didn't find any fault in Uhuru Kenyatta.
No.
Don't forget. There's an IEBC.
Let me correct this. That's what I'm saying. In developed democracies, President Uhuru, having been a beneficiary of a bad system, integrity requires that he should have even offered to resign. Just like Chebukati by now should have resigned, just like Chilob by now should have resigned, and a couple of the guys who were found to have mismanaged this election. James Muhati, who was in charge of transmission of results, person in charge of legal affairs, Chiloba himself, Kasait, director of election, because the whole thing was botched. So, you're talking about if we want to really nurture our democracy, Jalango and Jeff, we must do things as they are happening in mature democracies where systems work. You plug and play. We cannot we can't do things this way forever. Really, we must change.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Let's be practical here.
Yeah.
The last time before August the 8th, yeah? How many counties did you visit on your campaigns?
At least we visited 11 counties.
11 out of 47.
Yes.
When is the Supreme Court ruling, by the way? On whether you can run
they said within 21 days. So I guess anytime from next week.
and there are 34 days and 34 nights. So if they rule that Ekuru Aukot is on the ballot, that'll give you less than 2 weeks to campaign.
Jalang, I don't know what was the theme of your show today. It seems to me the theme of your show was to try and put down Ekuru Aukot.
No, let me asking
Okay,
questions.
which can also be one of them.
It's true. You can ask
Which can
questions,
also be
and
one
I
of
can
them.
assure you that I'm here to answer your questions, however difficult as they are.
Ekuru.
I'm in a fighting mood.
Ekuru. Let's. You see,
We're being practical.
We're being practical. One of the
Are you
reasons-
trying to exclude me from the election by now?
Not at all.
No.
Are you holding anybody's brief?
We just want to save you some money.
But Jeff, you never even gave me any money before, yet you're supposed to be my friend.
You heard-
Even Jalango says
you
that he's
heard-
my Nilotic brother, but he has never.
Listen. You did not even reach out. You did not reach out to some of us.
I did.
Who said that we could not give you money?
Jalango,
How do you want money from us and you did not even ask for it?
Do you know Jalango and
We
Jeff?
thought that you were
I know you guys
self-sufficient.
can easily give Baba money after they held their
Pay bill.
pay bill never, but you
Do
cannot
you
give
even have a pay bill, of course?
I do have.
No, which
In
one?
fact, Jalango,
Give us a pay bill
Jalango,
number. We send
you
money
know,
now.
Let me tell you one of the things that. Let me tell you.
You will not come here.
Jalango, let me tell you. Have you even visited ekurunzai.com?
Of course, yes. We went through it.
And when you go to ekurunzai.com, there is house you can support Ekuru Aukot there. There is even our manifesto there.
Ekuru.
I've even compared our manifesto with that of the two guys. You guys glorify.
Who said we are glorifying anyone?
Because
Listen,
look at
Ekuru,
your
listen,
question,
listen.
Jalago.
See how big NASA collusion is. It's a big collusion, right?
Coalition.
Coalition.
Oh,
But
okay.
they still go ahead and even raise their placards juu na kusema jamani
You know.
tunaumia. You understand? Send something.
You know,
Third
Jalago.
Way Alliance,
Yeah.
come out, carry something, do some assault.
Jalango.
Anything
Jalango.
so that we know that you are here.
We are very elegant in the way we do things at Third Way Alliance. And if you recall, actually, we were the first people to appeal for crowdfunding. Let's correct that. We were the first people to appeal for crowdfunding. We first actually acquired a pay bill number last year, which we circulated. Safaricom shut us down. Then we went to M-Changa. They also shut us down. That's when now we hired the services of fundraisers who actually developed the website for us, the ekurunzai.com, and they put in a system there on how you can support us through your credit card, M-Pesa, and all the others. So we were the first one. But you see, let me tell you, what is the dominant narrative in Kenyan politics? Even just listening to us here.
It's money.
It's money, but also it's the few individuals, which why you are saying, are you going to be in the ballot? Do you know, I will be in that ballot, whether I get my own vote, and I hope I will also get yours. Maybe I can count on 1, 2, 3 votes here, or 4. But
Jeff.
Yeah, 1 in 6 people are more likely to commit suicide.
Jeff.
why will they commit suicide?
Jeff.
Go on, Jalas.
President Uhuru Kenyatta visited the 47 counties, putting out 600
Stops
and campaigns.
in 30 days, in 60 days.
See, Raila Amolo Odinga visited 47 counties, all of them, putting up to almost 710 stops. You understand?
Yeah.
They don't have that luxury now because of the time that is left.
Factor, yeah.
You understand? So in the few 3-4 weeks, what is left to maybe visiting big towns and everything. Ekuru, when people had time to visit everywhere and sell their policies, you only visited 11 counties.
That's very true. And I will tell you why. First of all, we are not, Jalango, your question is very important because it's raising a fundamental problem we have in our Kenyan politics, the commercialization of our politics. Kenyans have never wanted to relate big money in politics and theft of public money and corruption and people who have been in office for the longest time. Ekuru Aukot has not stolen any money from either NYS, Eurobond, Goldenberg, Kazi kwa Vijana, Mahindi Saga, SGR. I've never, and I will never do that. So are you then surprised that some people who have been in government for all these years, who could not account for public resources, can do the rounds they do? And secondly, you cannot use personal money to seek public office. That is the recipe for corruption, my friend. That's where corruption begins. People who use millions and millions. And that's why for me, I commend the action by Raila Amolo Odinga and Kalonzo Musyoka in asking Kenyan supporters. Because that's what happens elsewhere in the world. Crowdfunding. People must support a cause. You as my friend, you keep on asking me why I did not go 47 counties, but you never really even supported this cause. Maybe you belong elsewhere, but it's okay, that's your democratic right. But I think the question that we should be discussing as Kenyans is today, is it money that begets good leadership or it's ideas? You know, let me share with you about 5 key issues that I learned last Sunday from Pastor Ondari of Nairobi Chapel. And he challenged his congregation. That's why he invited me to go and speak in Rongai to his congregation just in the middle of the sermon. And he said, Kenyans, you have always made mistakes. And he advised them, there are 5 things you must really look for in a leader. Number 1, read their manifestos or something those people have written. Because that way you're able to know what is their personal convictions, what is their personal feeling as a leader, what inspires this leader. How many Kenyans today have read something personally written by the leaders they elect? How many? Including even yourself. Number 2, look at their background and their work record. Do we bother to look at the background and work record of the leaders that we elect? For me, that's a big issue. And Pastor Ondari was telling his congregation at Nairobi Chapel Rongai, this is a very important thing, because then how will you trust somebody to do something when you have not even checked their background? Number 3, check their accountability. Are they accountable as individuals? What has been the transparency record, accountability record about? Number 4, are they personable? In other words, look at the ethos and pathos of an individual. Do we even bother to actually look at that? Number 5, and lastly, can they execute? If they tell you this is my vision, can they execute? Now, the difference between me and the people that, again, sorry to use this word, that we keep on glorifying in their political space, is that they have been around for quite some time in government. They have promised heavens and earth. Today, 21st century, we're still talking about cholera in this city, bad roads, insecurity, theft of public money, tribalism, negative ethnicity. You know, Jeff, you and I, at least I know, we have mixed marriages in our business. And you see, if you look at our children.
Even Jalas, by the way.
Even Jalas.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's the Kenya that I want.
The new Kenya.
Yeah, the new Kenya. But see, if you look at this, these people that we keep on, who have occupied our political space for the longest time, the problems are still there. If you go back to independence, 1963, we were told that we'll eradicate disease, poverty, and ignorance. Today, I can tell you, I think we are still struggling with some of those basic things. So the question really is, why is it that Kenyans want to are preoccupied with the same fellows who have promised them heavens and earth, and they have not. And that's why, for me, Pastor Ondari was saying, can the leaders you want to elect execute their vision? Because you've had them before. So what's so difficult trying Ekuru Aukot this time round? And we fix this country.
Okay, let me ask you this. Actually, it's Nelson Opole. It says, Aukot, if NASA had not gone to court, were you ready to fight the same?
Absolutely. I was going to go on, but let me also remind him that under Article 258 of the Kenya Constitution, any Kenyan could have gone to court to say that this constitution has been contravened or is about to be contravened or is threatened with contravention. And therefore, any Kenyan with evidence could have actually caused the Supreme Court to declare the presidential election invalid, null and void. Now the question is, was Chebukati going to force that Kenyan who did not participate in that election to be in the ballot? So it answers the question where people are asking that, well, why are you seeking to be enjoined or to be in the ballot when he did not petition? People are misunderstanding a runoff and a repeat election. And any Kenyan can actually go to court today and convince the court that this election was botched and therefore should be repeated.
Even the fresh one in October?
Even the fresh one, yes, absolutely.
John Nguruwe, listening to you all the way from Doha, Qatar.
Great.
He says, Ambia Ekuru, feelings awache.
Akona feelings mingi.
Ana feelings mingi sana.
Sasa ni ma feelings gani hizo mimi sielewi.
Kisumu's finance anasema as much as you people are crucifying Aukot, I support him and he has my vote.
Oh.
Thank you very much, Jathuru.
Kisumu's fine.
Some ranking.
That's my Nilotic brother.
Wow. Aukot, but now a few things that people are raising.
Yes, please.
That you know what? Anytime we have 10 to 20 candidates on one paper, that's why the spoilt votes, the delays and everything. And people actually saw this fresh election almost as a Raila Uhuru's battle, being the fact that he was in the front line in the petitioning for this. And you are joined to it, but did not petition. You understand? As much as you are quoting the articles in the Constitution that actually gives you the right to run, because this is a fresh election.
Actually, it's a repeat election.
It's a repeat election, not a rerun.
Not a rerun.
Won't you just let it be that battle that we've always had and seen in other countries, like in the US, the Democrats and the Republican, and you have two candidates and you walk in, you have two people to choose from, and we are done.
But Jalango, for what reason? Because if the court said that this election was invalid, null and void, as if it never happened, and then they said there were illegalities and irregularities committed in the process, I think where we should be saying, we should be talking about, are we able to hold the 17th October election without those illegalities and irregularities? That's where we should be moving. Not to say, Wachiao. Wachiao, even in the first place, the court has said actually there was a problem in conducting this election. You keep on citing developed democracies like America. Honestly, if we were in America, a lot of these folks would not even be running for public office. That's the truth. Chapter 6 on leadership and integrity alone will not allow these fellows to run. Actually, probably 1 or 2, 3 of us could have been the only ones qualified to run for public office. A lot of them. So let's not cite about developed democracies like the United States, because we don't even compare. Like I said, by now, if it is on the United States of America, Chebukati would have been gone.
Okay.
Chiloba would have been gone.
Do you want to go into these next elections with Chebukati and the Chilobas?
Let's first of all deconstruct the determination of the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court found out that IEBC and Chebukati committed illegalities and irregularities. So that's already an indictment. So yes, Chebukati should have resigned by now. It also found that the way this election was administered was not in accordance with the law, dictates, in fact I quote, in accordance with dictates of the Constitution and election law. The person in charge of IEBC, the CEO, Ezra Chiloba, should have resigned by now. It also found that the transmission of the results was problematic. James Mwati should not be anywhere close to IEBC by now. It also found that the commission did not comply with the law and the Constitution, which means Praxidis Torore, who is the Director of Legal Affairs at the IEBC should have gone by now. And then, of course, there was the director of election, Immaculate Kasait. All those people should have gone by now, because that is what gives confidence in the institution of IEBC. Right now, we are going into this 17th October election, and I'm sure you guys must have seen the memo by Chebukati
over the weekend.
It raises serious, grave concerns.
The leaked memo, however, Ekuru, they all spent the weekend at Great Lakes in Naivasha, and they came back and they said, we're staying. And Chebukati said Chiloba is going to head this new team, reconstructed team, if you will.
You see, Chebukati is coming out as a very, I'm sorry to say this, and I hope I'm not being too hard on him. I think he's really emerging out as a very ignorant person, legally speaking. He, first of all, he flip-flops on his decisions. He's the same person who was saying, release for us the full release for us the full judgment, so that we can prepare for the 2017. I mean, the 17th October report. But he's the same person who rushes to Gazette Uhuru and Raila as the only candidate, and yet he says, for me to prepare 17th October election, I need the full judgment. The same person rushes to appoint a project team, which excludes Chiloba and others. Then weekend happens, he now parades Chiloba again. He has not even told us whether he has received answers to his memo, which is really raising grave concerns. So the question really is this: how do we restore confidence in the IEBC? And the only way to restore confidence in the IEBC is to say, let's even follow the determination of the Supreme Court. Those areas where there are bad elements, I mean, I call them bad elements within IEBC, can we at least deal with them? Can we at least be seen to be cleaning the house? So that today, even if Chebukati left, the other commissioners can organize this election. Chebukati is not IEBC, and IEBC is not Chebukati. At least our constitution gives us the comfort that in every independent constitutional commission, you need at least 3 commissioners and a maximum of 9. So currently there are 6. So if Chebukati goes, IEBC will not collapse. Chiloba goes, IEBC will not collapse. There are many other officers who can handle this. After all, we look at IEBC as an institution. Let's remove the individuals today. I mean, God forbid, if one of them, God forbid, again I repeat, one of them drops dead tomorrow, are we saying that the election will not be held? Well, or even one of them resigns tomorrow, or all of them resign tomorrow? Right. You
cannot hold an election according to the Constitution, which you wrote yourself. You wrote it. The president cannot appoint.
That's very true. That's why the president's powers are reduced to Article 134, powers of incumbency.
Yes.
So it is very true that the president cannot appoint them, which is why we are saying, because of what do you call it? I'm forgetting the legal terminology. But anyway, it's a question of necessity. If today Chiloba is not, or Chebukati resigns, it doesn't mean that the IEBC, the remaining commissioners, cannot hold an election. This is a factor of necessity. They will have to hold the election. So really, it's not that he cast in stone. It's not like, Kenya cannot move on without these individuals. And therefore, if they want to restore, because Jeff, let's also be brutally honest as Kenyans, we have got serious mistrust issues of each other.
Major.
And therefore, we should be seen to be addressing some of those concerns. For example, if people have been found culpable, at least let's deal with them even in our own small way. And maybe it can lessen the temperatures and cool, the pressures that we are feeling right now. That's all we are just saying.
All right, let's take a quick break, come back and talk some more. By the way, someone says, Ekuru, why don't you wait till 2022? Why don't you wait?
Because Jeff,
it's not me.
I know. Let me tell him that, all of us will remember that right from, I think, kindergarten or primary or up to secondary college, we were told you are tomorrow's leaders. That tomorrow never comes. So I want to make sure that tomorrow is today, because our daily life struggles are felt today.
Ekuru, how old are you?
I'm 45 now.
Wow. 45 years old. Ekuru Aukot, party leader, Third Way Alliance, in the studio live. Frederick Okango is tweeting thick and fast. I wonder why.
It's the Hot Breakfast with Jeff and Jalango.